Hey everyone, today marks the start of our awesome journey on this channel. So we will be doing something different in the coming episodes, and we're deep diving into the history of rock and roll and heavy metal. So get ready and rock and roll with us, and we will explore how these incredible music styles came to be and how they were changed over time. From the legendary bands that paved the way to the groundbreaking albums that shook the world, we're going to uncover all the amazing moments that have made rock and metal what they are today. 1950. Back in the day when rock and roll exploded onto the scene like a burst of fresh air in the world of music, great icons like Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, and Little Richard lead the charge as the trailblazer of this electrifying movement. Their wild energy and rebellious spirit turned the music world upside down. They blend the elements of blues, country, and R&B in a way that have never been before. Their performances were electrifying, their personalities larger than life, and they set the stage for what they would become the rock music we know and love today. These people were the architects of rock, laying down the blueprints of a whole new sound that would revolutionize music forever. Let's raise the toast to these pioneers of rock and roll, for without them, the world would be a much quieter place for us. 1960. Imagine zooming ahead to the swinging 60s, a time when rock music was the hottest ticket in town. Think about icons like the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and Jimi Hendrix, leading the charge in this musical revolution. They weren't just making music, they were rewriting the rulebook and reshaping the very essence of rock. Their boundary-pushing sounds and rebellious attitudes have sparked a cultural disruption, sending shockwaves throughout the universe. By the way, let's not forget the British invasion, a tidal wave of talent from across the pond that flooded the American music scene with its infectious tunes and trend-setting style. It was a game changer back then, leaving marks on the rock landscape forever. Let's crank up the volume and get ready to groove, because the 60s were a time of innovation, rebellion, and pure rock and roll magic. 1970. Picture this: the dawn of the 1970s, a time when rock music took a bold step into a darker, heavier territory, laying the ground of the genre we now know as heavy metal. Imagine bands like Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, and Deep Purple emerging as the fearless pioneers of this new iconic and new sonic landscape, cranking up the volume and unleashing thunderous riffs that rumbled across the globe. And hey, their performances weren't just concerts, they were epic, larger-than-life spectacles that captured the imagination of fans far and wide, igniting a passion of rock music that burned brighter than ever before. But it wasn't just about the music again. It was about pushing the limits and exploring uncharted territory. This was an era of rebellion and experimentation, where artists dared to defy convention and forge their own path. And in doing so, they laid the foundation for a multitude of metal subgenres that would rise to prominence in the years to come, each adding its own unique flavor to the ever-evolving tapestry of heavy music. So raise your horns and salute the pioneers of yesteryear, for their legacy lives on in the thunderous roar of heavy metal. 1980. The 1980s were like this heavyweight champion's belt for heavy metal. This was the era when metal reigned supreme, dominating the music scene like never before. Bands like Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax cranking up the volume with their intense riffs and raw energy, setting the stage blaze with their electrifying performances. Meanwhile, Iron Maiden brought a touch of epic grandeur to the table, their melodic mastery soaring to the new heights and captivating audiences worldwide. But wait, there's more. The 80s also gave birth to glam metal, a flashy and flamboyant cousin of traditional metal. Bands like Motley Crue and Def Leppard strutted onto their scene with their wild style and high-octane antics, turning up the glam factor to 11. It was a time of pure excess and unapologetic extravagance, where bigger was always better and louder was the name of the game. So buckle up and get ready to rock, because the 80s were a wild ride through a metal wonderland. 1990. Welcome to the new era. This is a decade that shook the world of music to its core. This was the epic arrival of the grunge movement. Bands like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and Soundgarden led the charge. They were armed with a raw and unfiltered sound that struck a chord with a whole generation of music lovers. Their music was like a punch in the gut, gritty, honest, and totally real, reflecting the raw emotions and disillusionment of the times. Don't think for a second that heavy metal took a backseat during the grunge revolution. Bands like Pantera and others in the groove metal scene kept the metal flame burning bright. With their blistering riffs and aggressive sound, they reminded the world that metal was here to stay. They were here to stay no matter what the trends are. The 90s were a melting pot of musical diversity and experimentation, where different genres collided and merged in a beautiful chaos. It was a decade where the boundaries were burnt and anything seemed possible. Year 2000s. To 2000s, a decade where heavy metal and rock embarked a thrilling journey of evolution and experimentation. Enter the new metal movement, a groundbreaking fusion that shook the foundations of music as we knew it. Imagine metal joining forces with elements of hip-hop, electronic, and alternative music to create something entirely new and electrifying. In step bands like Slipknot, Linkin Park, or System of a Down, bursting onto the scene with a raw and an unbridled energy that spoke directly to the angst and intensity of the era. Their music wasn't just a sound. It was a reflection of the diverse influences swirling around in the cultural zeitgeist. Think heavy guitar riffs colliding with electronic beats and rap-inspired vocals, creating a sonic landscape that was as unpredictable as it was exhilarating. The new metal movement wasn't just a musical trend, it was a transformative moment that reshaped the very DNA of the genre. It ushered in a new wave of innovation and experimentation, captivating a whole new generation of fans hungry for something fresh. So buckle up and get ready to ride the wave of new metal nostalgia. It's a journey you won't forget. 2010. As we enter the 2010s, heavy metal and rock showed no signs of slowing down. Instead, they continued to evolve and diversify in exciting ways. Bands like Ghost emerged with a theatrical flair, infusing classic rock and metal sounds with a fresh twist that captivated audiences worldwide. Their mystique and creativity breathed new life into the scene, offering a glimpse into the possibilities of the future. Meanwhile, Gojira stepped onto the stage with their unparalleled technique, prowess, and thought-provoking themes centered around environmental consciousness. Pushing the boundaries of progressive and death metal, they challenged listeners to explore new sonic landscapes while raising awareness about pressing global issues. Their impact went beyond music, inspiring action and reflection among fans and fellow musicians. And let's not forget about Avenged Sevenfold, who solidified their status as arena headliners by blending their metalcore roots with hard rock elements. Their anthemic tracks and electrifying performances resonated with audiences of all ages, earning them a dedicated following and cementing their place in the annals of rock history. Overall, the 2010s were a decade of innovation and experimentation, with heavy metal and rock continuing to push boundaries and defy expectations. With each new band and each new release, the future of beloved genres shined brighter than ever before. 2020. As we deep dive into the 2020s, a new chapter unfolds for the rock and heavy metal. Characterized by innovation and boundary-pushing sounds, one band making waves is Spiritbox, captivating audiences with their unique fusion of metalcore, djent, and atmospheric elements. Fronted by the incredible versatile vocals of Courtney LaPlante, Spiritbox has skyrocketed to prominence, captivating listeners with their dynamic soundscapes and emotional depth. Meanwhile, Poppy has emerged as a true trailblazer, defying genre convention and blurring the lines between pop, metal, and experimental music. Her daring approach challenges traditional boundaries, pushing the envelope of what's possible in the realm of heavy music. With each release, Poppy continues to surprise and intrigue audiences, leaving an indelible mark to the landscape of contemporary music. Now, let's not forget about Trivium, a band that has consistently evolved their sound to stay relevant in an ever-changing musical landscape, drawing from a diverse range of influences including metalcore, thrash, and progressive metal. Trivium continues to push the boundaries of their genre, captivating fans old and new with their electrifying performances and boundary-pushing compositions. So today, rock and music continue to thrive and evolve, from the progressive sounds of Tool to the symphonic power of Nightwish. These genres are alive and kicking. We'll be covering all this and more, deep diving into the history, the legends, and the hidden gems of rock and heavy metal. Whether you've been headbanging since birth or you're just starting to feel the rhythm, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay in the loop with all our latest videos. If you're as pumped as we are to delve into this epic history of rock and metal, give this video a thumbs up. And hey, drop us a comment below letting us know what topics you're itching to see us cover next. Your feedback helps shape the future of our channel, so let your voice be heard.